Well, here in the nation's capital, a pro-lifer was sentenced to more than 4 years in prison for violating the FACE Act. This comes after Lauren Handy was part of a rescue at a local abortion business. Her attorneys say they will appeal the conviction. Let's bring in Martin Cannon, a lawyer from the Thomas More Society who represented Lauren Handy. Martin, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it. First off, how is Lauren doing? And can you tell us why you say this conviction is, quote, a miscarriage of justice?
Well, your first question, how's she doing? She's amazing. She was all smiles and joking around and laughing with me when I visited her after the hearing today. We went down into the visiting room in the jail at the courthouse. She's just remarkable, and she's very pleased with the sentence. You know, she was expecting 78 months, and she got 57 months instead. She's already got 9 of those months served, so she's really looking at 4 years, and there are ways that she'll get that pared down, and she thinks she'll be out in about 2. But having said that, 2 years and 9 months plus 3 years of supervised release is a very long sentence for an event like this. We gave the court about half a dozen cases with far more egregious conduct under the same statute, and most of the sentences were 1 to 2 years. So that's a miscarriage, in my opinion. The conviction itself is a miscarriage because these people were trying to save babies. They don't like abortion, and they are pro-life activists. But in this particular case, they were trying to save babies from being born alive and then just set aside on the counter to die. Sometimes a process takes up to 4.5 hours. A living child neglected after being born alive until it dies hours later. So, and the judge and even the U.S. Attorney and the Department of Justice agreed with me that if that's going on, the FACE Act doesn't even prevent it, and she could use all the things at her disposal that any of us would have to defend another person who's being murdered. The problem is they wouldn't let us put on meaning the court would not let us put on the evidence to flesh out that concern.
It's very concerning and all disturbing, too. Martin, I understand that several other pro-lifers will be sentenced in D.C. this week. Can you tell us more about that? What's going on there?
Well, there were 9 of them, and the judge said properly gave each person a separate hearing for his or her sentence. Lauren's was the first. There were, I think, 2 more today, and then there will be maybe 3 or 4 tomorrow. And a couple of them were postponed until about a week from now because of health issues and stuff like that. But there are a total of 9 defendants, and each of them is going to have a separate sentencing hearing. Each hearing will take between 1 and 2 hours, and they're just kind of lined up and just one after another.
Mark, before I let you go, for our viewers, what else do you want them to know about these cases? What's the big takeaway from here?
I would say the takeaway is this is really what we get when Roe versus Wade blew this huge hole in our national fabric and created a void. Abortion was nothing like what it is today. It wasn't the industry that it has become. But wickedness will fill any vacuum you give it. And 50 years later, we've got 60 million American children that we've killed at our own hands. And Lauren and her group see that truth, and we need to see it with them.
Absolutely. Martin, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.